For 53 years, an invisible weight hung from the rafters of Madison Square Garden. Every new roster inherited that same ghost, alongside the crushing expectations of the New York market. That pressure escalated publicly in January. Speaking on WFAN radio, team owner James Dolan delivered a strict mandate to the front office. Reaching the NBA Finals was an absolute necessity for the current season. This ultimatum established a rigid standard for the players and coaching staff before the playoffs even began. A deep postseason run was no longer an aspirational goal. It was the baseline requirement. Half a century of losing makes a fan base deeply restless. This cultural pressure transformed the season into a high-stakes test of organizational survival. To meet those expectations, President of Basketball Operations Leon Rose executed a specific high-risk blueprint. He systematically stripped away the team's bench depth to assemble a starting rotation packed with elite two-way talent. A massive $207.4 million payroll pushed the franchise far above the cap, triggering a steep $44.4 million tax penalty. Looking closer, that capital was concentrated into a big four: Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges. The investment yielded immediate returns, culminating in a Las Vegas sweep to capture the NBA Cup in December. But by January, the roster hit a physical wall and endured a punishing 2-9 slump. Recurring ankle sprains sidelined Jalen Brunson, while OG Anunoby missed time with a hamstring injury. Without their key stoppers, New York's defensive rating fell to 19th in the league. Those missing pieces exposed severe depth issues. Media outlets openly questioned if a top-heavy roster could actually withstand the physical toll required to reach the finals. Spending record-breaking sums can secure premium talent, yet that midwinter slide demonstrated exactly how brittle a team becomes when success relies entirely on a few stars staying perfectly healthy. The postseason opened with an intensely narrative-driven matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks had actively manipulated their late-season bracket to draw New York, backing up their confidence by quickly taking a 2-1 series lead. Facing intense media scrutiny, head coach Mike Brown made a critical adjustment. He completely shifted his offensive alignment, utilizing Karl-Anthony Towns as a facilitator in high-post split actions. Operating from the free throw line, Towns pulled Atlanta's shot blockers out of the paint, creating wide-open cutting lanes. In Game 6, New York executed a scarcely believable 67-13 first-half run, building a 47-point lead and a new NBA postseason record. This adjustment demonstrated the Knicks' offense reached its full potential only by fully leveraging their star center to pull defenders out of the paint. But the true engine of their playoff run operated on the other side of the ball. Following the Atlanta series, the Knicks smothered opponents, holding them to an elite 104.9 points per 100 possessions. Jalen Brunson directed this attack with a poised, mid-range mastery that closely mirrored the Hall of Fame play of Walt Clyde Frazier. Inside, Karl-Anthony Towns sacrificed his individual scoring volume to anchor the interior, providing the same rugged, physical wall that Willis Reed brought to the paint. On the perimeter, Bridges and Anunoby formed a suffocating defensive tandem, tracking ball handlers with the relentless, physical pressure of Dave DeBusschere and Bill Bradley. Modern basketball is defined by five-out geometry and high-volume three-point shooting. Yet this roster secured its victories by resurrecting the telepathic, hard-nosed defensive identity of the franchise's greatest era. The NBA Finals presented a drastically different challenge: the highly explosive San Antonio Spurs, anchored by reigning Defensive Player of the Year Victor Wembanyama. In Game 4 at Madison Square Garden, New York's offense stalled, riddled with stagnant isolations and unforced turnovers that led to an unsurmountable 29-point third-quarter deficit. Instead of folding, the Knicks' perimeter defenders began suffocating the Spurs' ball handlers, aggressively jumping passing lanes and holding San Antonio without a field goal. The comeback culminated in the final moments. With just 1.2 seconds remaining, OG Anunoby banked in a spectacular tip-in to seal a 107-106 thriller. This victory established the 2026 Knicks as a team that could overcome their own unforced turnovers and cold shooting through sheer defensive resilience. In the decisive Game 5 at the Frostbank Center, Jalen Brunson took complete control, erupting for a Knicks Finals record 45 points to trigger a late fourth-quarter rally. Up by 3 with 26 seconds left, Josh Hart missed a critical free throw. But Mitchell Robinson muscled past the 7'4" Wembanyama to snatch the definitive offensive rebound, physically securing the victory. As the final buzzer sounded on the 94-90 win, broadcaster Mike Breen delivered the call a city had waited decades for. It's over. Knicks fans, this is not a dream. Looking ahead, the front office faces immediate logistical challenges. To sustain this dynasty and mitigate injury risk, they must address heavy starter minutes and build reliable bench depth. But as ticker tape covered Fifth Avenue, Jalen Brunson put the critics to rest. Addressing the massive crowds, he made it clear. When you prove the doubters wrong, you don't need to say another word. The hardware speaks for itself.